Hey guys, it's Saga from TechWorks, and it is finally time for us to take a look at the cameras on the Mi 10. If you remember, I said in the unboxing video that cameras on this phone are one of the main reasons I purchased it. This was my first time trying out a 108 megapixel camera, and I had a really fun time testing it out. I took a ton of images with this Mi 10, and out of those, I am going to share close to 90 image and video samples in this video, including a couple of 8K video samples. Without wasting any time, let us quickly look at the cameras that the Mi 10 packs in. It gets 5 cameras in total, 4 on its back and 1 at the front. Main rear camera gets a mammoth 108 megapixel sensor with f1.7 aperture and optical image stabilization. Next one gets a 13 megapixel sensor with f2.4 aperture and a 12mm ultra wide angle lens. Then there are a couple of 2 megapixel sensors with f2.4 aperture. One of these gets a macro lens and the other one is a depth sensor for portrait shots. Primary camera can shoot 8K videos at 30 fps, 4K videos at 30 and 60 fps, 1080p videos at 30, 60 and 120 fps, and 720p videos at 30 and 120 fps. Wide camera can shoot 4K videos in 30 fps, 1080p videos in 30 and 60 fps, and 720p videos in 30 fps. And the macro camera can also shoot 720p videos at 30 fps. On the Mi 10, you can take videos like this where your subject is in focus and everything else around them is blurred out. You can do this with the main camera, the wide angle camera, and even the selfie camera. They are using software to do this and not the actual information from the depth sensor. At the front, it gets a 20 megapixel sensor with f2.3 aperture and about 79 degree field of view. You can take 1080p 30 fps and 720p 30 and 120 fps videos with this camera. Interface of the camera app is pretty similar to most of the Xiaomi and Redmi smartphones. There is a lag of few microseconds between when you press the shutter and when the image is captured. But it is definitely not as bad as the lag on the OnePlus 8 as we saw in its camera review. There is a lens selection button over the shutter button, and at the top there are various toggles. Here you also find the option to switch to the macro lens, and if you tap on these 3 lines, you get a few more options and the settings menu. Coming back to the viewfinder, you can swipe to the left or right to switch modes. When you get to the Pro mode, you can change all settings like white balance, focus, shutter speed, ISO and exposure according to your liking. You can also switch lenses and shoot RAW or 108 megapixel images. The best part is, all these settings are available while shooting videos as well. Range for ISO is from 50 to 6400 and the range for shutter speed is from 1/4000th of a second all the way up to 30 seconds. So the Pro mode on this Mi 10 gives you a lot of options to play around with. This time, let us change things a bit and start with the video performance of this Mi 10. It can shoot 8K videos at 30 fps, which is not something that we can say about a lot of phones. It is in fact a 6K video upscaled to 8K, but we do get 8K output nevertheless. Now this is not an 8K video, and I am sure 99.5% of the people watching this video don't even have an 8K monitor or a TV to watch this video on. So to make it easier for you guys and on my editing machine, I have downscaled this 8K video to 4K. Just like what most phones do to the 4K footage, this 8K video is extremely saturated, but it still looks crisp and amazing. You get optical image stabilization at this resolution, but there is no electronic stabilization. You can also shoot 4K videos at 30 and 60 fps, and they look pretty good too. Here is a short montage that I created by combining some 4K 30 and 60 fps shots. You also get a vlog mode, which will let you put some shots in a sequence and apply certain presets to it. As cool as it sounds, I did not like this mode at all. Look at how grainy the footage is, even when there was plenty of light around, and it barely set focus on anything. Maybe this is acceptable video quality for some social media platforms, but for me, this mode gets a big thumbs down. But I would still give Xiaomi some points for trying to do something different. Now, as powerful as the processor on this Mi 10 is, and as amazing videos the main sensor can capture, the slow motion on this phone is capped to 120 fps at 1080p and 720p resolution. This just doesn't make any sense. I just hope that they at least add 1080p 240 fps mode with the software update. So with the videos out of the way, for images, let us start with the ones shot in daytime. Normally, I say that there are plenty of details in the daylight images, but these 25 megapixel pixel bin ones are on another level. You can just keep on zooming in on these images and the details just won't fall apart. Each of these images are somewhere between 13 to 22 MB in file size which actually shows how many details it captures. Fortunately, it was nice and bright when I took these images, so we can see how the colors turn out in bright daylight. Most of these colors turned out to be a bit saturated than the actual scene. But in most cases, that worked in the favor of Mi 10 and the images look really good. All these images also have a bit natural warm feel to them. Color is a personal choice, so if you don't like these slightly saturated and punchy looking colors, that is totally fine. Xiaomi has done an amazing job with the dynamic range on this phone. I shot this image with the HDR mode turned off, but you can still see how well the shot turned out. With the HDR mode turned on, images are just wonderful. Shadows are not too dark, highlights are not clipped, and the colors just look good. Before we get to the close-up shots, here is a quick focusing speed test. The main camera is very quick to switch the focus from a far to near object and then back again. Quick and accurate focusing comes in very handy when you try to take close-up shots like this. Just look at how good these close-up shots turned out. The subject, like the leaf in this shot or the watch in this one, is in perfect sharp focus and the background is nicely blurred out. This background blur is thanks to the wide aperture of f1.7 and the larger physical size of the sensor. Now all of this is great, but it also means that the plane of focus is very narrow, and if you are too close to your subject, most parts of it would be out of focus and you can even see a bit of distortion in the blurred area. Now I'm not complaining because I love the shallow depth of field that we get due to a bigger sensor. I'm just saying that you need to be aware of the plane of focus being very narrow and plan your shots accordingly. If you want to get even closer to your subject, there is a dedicated macro camera for this. This lens is incredible and it lets you take shots like this. Xiaomi and Redmi include 2 megapixel macro cameras on their budget smartphones. This Mi 10 is a flagship smartphone, so it should have come with a high resolution sensor behind this macro lens. As good as these images look now, they could have turned out so much better with an 8 or even a 5 megapixel sensor instead of this 2 megapixel one. The good thing is, even while shooting from this close, colors and white balance are still good. Now the Mi 10 also gets an ultra wide lens, and at 12mm, this might very well be one of the widest lenses on all flagships. This camera is not very sharp, and it is emphasized even more when we look at these images side by side. There is also a shift in color temperature between these two lenses. Normal lens captures warmer color tones, while the wider lens leans a bit towards the cooler side, and its images also have a bit of green tint in them. I am still happy that we get a wide lens, so we can show a different perspective of the scene. But I think Xiaomi needs to refine it a bit to deliver better results. All the images from the primary camera were pixel bin ones, and for some reason, these are 25 megapixel images instead of 27 megapixel ones. But if you want to capture even more information, you can switch to the 108 megapixel mode. While you can zoom in more on the 108 megapixel images, ones shot with the default 25 megapixel mode are actually better looking and have much less noise in them. The 25 megapixel images already have a ton of details and are huge in terms of file size by themselves, and the 108 megapixel ones are even bigger than that. So that means you will run out of the internal storage much quicker if you just shoot at 108 megapixel. If the light is anything less than ideal, the 108 megapixel images start falling apart, while the 25 megapixel ones hold on to most of the details, as you can see here. Dynamic range is also better in the 25 megapixel mode. While it is phenomenal to be able to shoot at 108 megapixels on your smartphone, I think it is best to stick to the default mode for most of your shots. Coming to the portrait mode. Whenever I have people in my shot, I switch to the portrait mode on whichever smartphone I am using. This mode makes your images stand out and look a lot more professional. If your smartphone has it and you are not using it, then you are missing out on a lot. So how the portrait mode performance of any smartphone is plays a very big role in my decision making process. I am happy to tell you that this Mi 10 gets the portrait shots right 95% of the times. Edge detection is on point and the subject appears to be sharp. Just make sure to turn off the beauty mode before you click these images. Colors, sharpness and dynamic range is really good while taking these shots. If anything, I just feel they should work a bit on the edges. Right now, there is a hard separation between the subject and the background, while I think there should be a bit softer roll-off, making the images look more natural. Like with most Xiaomi phones, you also get various light trail and studio lighting effects for these portrait shots. You can choose to apply these effects while clicking the images or even after you have clicked them. From within the portrait mode, you can also switch to the movie mode, and it will let you take 21:9 portrait shots with black bars at the top and bottom. This gives your portrait shots a very unique cinematic feel. Like with most smartphones, you can take portrait shots of objects as well. Edge detection is just as good while taking these shots. and I think the blur roll-off is better while taking portraits of objects than it is while taking portraits of humans. Now if you are taking portraits of objects and if you are this close to the subject, you don't even have to switch to the portrait mode. Since the sensor is very large, the background will get a nice optical blur anyway. Now let's move on to the images that I took in the evening and then follow them with the images taken in indoors, artificial and lower lighting conditions. Having a massive sensor with f1.7 aperture means it is capable of capturing a lot more light compared to other smartphones, giving us such great results. As we get to even lower light, optical image stabilization on the main camera helps it keep on capturing light with a much longer shutter speed. All of this means we get good images even as the light goes down. Colors still look good even in these lighting conditions. I feel there are plenty of details in these low light shots, but if you disagree, there is a night mode for you which captures even more light and details. Like with most other smartphones, you won't see a night and day difference between the normal and night mode images from the Mi 10. But there are some subtle changes, like the exposure from the light being handled in a better way and slightly sharper images with better details overall. I prefer this implementation of the night mode rather than having my images look like they were taken in daytime when the night mode is turned on. What do you guys think? Do you like it when the night mode makes your images look better, or do you prefer when the night mode makes the images look like they were taken in daytime? Let me know in the comments. That brings us to the front-facing camera. This 20 megapixel camera captures good looking images, but I still think they are not as sharp as images from a 20 megapixel sensor should be. And sometimes, this camera also makes the scene appear a bit too dark than it actually is. Overall colors are a bit on the warmer side, but I would still say it makes the skin tones look natural. Xiaomi needs to work a bit on the image processing for these selfies to make the overall images look more natural. Edge detection is near perfect in these portrait selfies, and even if you have multiple people in the shot, it manages to keep their faces in focus while blurring rest of the background. Dynamic range takes a big hit while taking these portrait selfies, and it is another thing that Xiaomi needs to work on for making this selfie camera better. Here's a video from the front-facing camera of the Mi 10. You can see how it is handling the overall exposure of the scene, colors, and stabilization when I am walking around with it. With that, we have seen close to 90 image and video samples from the cameras on this Mi 10. Overall, I think this phone has got a really good set of cameras, and star of the show obviously being the 108 megapixel primary camera on its back. Images are incredibly detailed from this camera, and while they are slightly more saturated than most other smartphones, I think they are perfect for directly sharing on social media platforms. While the extra modes like vlog and kaleidoscope are not very good, I can still see people having some fun time taking videos with them. I have not compared these images with any of the other flagship cameras yet, but on its own, I think there is not a lot to complain about the cameras on this phone. If I just had to pick something, I would say I am a bit disappointed with the macro camera, and I would have loved to see a few more frame rate options for slow motion videos. Other than that, all these cameras have been pretty good for me. If I haven't said this before, I had a really fun time testing this camera. I have clicked close to 800 images with it so far, and whenever I went out to take these shots, the battery on this phone held up pretty well. On the day when I took most of these images, I stepped out of the home with a 100% charge, and after 5 to 6 hours and taking about 300 images, the battery was still hovering around 50%, and this is while also using it as my main phone, so I consider this to be pretty good. Most people dismiss the Mi 10 because of its starting price of 50,000 rupees, but if you are looking for a good camera phone at this price point, definitely keep this one on your radar, as it has got a really good set of cameras and features like the Pro mode for images and videos to back it up. These have been my thoughts, but you guys saw the images too, and what do you guys think about the cameras on this phone? And based on the cameras, would you consider the Mi 10 over the OnePlus 8 or the 8 Pro? Let me know in the comments. If you like this phone and you are looking to get it, I will really appreciate if you purchase it from the affiliate link in the description section. That is it for this video guys. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel for more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.